that's the fight that everybody want to see.
Yeah.
I want to do it.
Do you respect him as like when he's like, I got a couple fights left, I'm at the end, I'm only trying to get mega fights, so
I understand it, but don't lie or cap to the net and make it seem like I had the opportunity to fight you and I didn't. I never did. You know what I'm saying? And then that one time that I did, we said they called and we said never heard nothing else back about it. So like.
Right.
I mean, I respect it though. I mean, get your money. You know what I'm saying? Do your thing. But don't be capping on the net.
Man, great. Bud always been like that. Without a question, solid. You know what I'm saying? Solid.
You think there's anything left for him, coach, or is it time for Bud to move on? Or
I'm trying to figure out who he gonna fight next.
160, you can see him fight
I wouldn't do nothing crazy. He looked at excellent. Hey, he looked at excellent.
Is there anybody most from
No, I'm trying to figure out what their team gonna do next. I want to see what's
He's
next.
talking about 160, coach. I mean, the only thing down there is maybe like a middleweight tournament, 2 fights undisputed, something like that. But if not that, then what for Bud?
Who?
Well, they were talking about Jaron Ennis going to 160. Possibly Jaron Ennis going to 160.
If he go to 160, then we got another mega fight.
You think that's a mega fight?
I don't know that yet, but I'm saying in the boxing fans that know boxing would say that's another.
Boxing world would have no choice but to pay attention if Terence "Bud" Crawford and Jaron "Boots" Ennis finally reached a serious deal. This is no longer just another fantasy matchup fans debate online. It has become one of the most anticipated fights the sport could possibly make. Crawford has already shocked the world by moving up to 168 pounds and defeating Canelo Alvarez, proving once again that size alone cannot stop him. Now the focus is turning toward the undefeated Ennis, a fighter many believe represents the next generation of elite boxing. If the reported financial numbers are anywhere near reality, this could become one of the biggest events of Crawford's career. So how did we get here? Why are people comparing Boots to a younger version of Bud? And can Ennis actually become the man capable of ending Crawford's incredible run?
And he a legend, man. 3-time undisputed. You got to take his hat up to him. He went up 2 weight classes and dominated a legend. So my hat goes up to him, and he's all respect.
Do you think Canelo is the same guy that he was before? You think he's completely fallen off?
Canelo's Canelo, you know what I mean? Canelo's a legend, bro. You gotta, at the end of the day, whatever happened that fight, that don't diminish his career, his image. You feel me? I think right now, he's at that time where he took an L, but he ain't take an L, you know what I'm saying? He got paid and he a legend at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? So if he want to walk over in the sunset right now, his last name is in the cement. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the greatest Mexican fighters in the world.
I know it sounds a little bit crazy, but Crawford does have all the titles. You're a really big name. He's kind of in your way right now a little bit. Is that a fight where you're just like, me and him get it on for sure?
Not for sure. Definitely, you know what I'm saying? We don't duck no smoke. So, right now, I'm focused on my comeback fight, you know what I'm saying? I gotta put my head down, whatever happened in my last fight is cool, but that ain't dim my light at all, you know what I'm saying? I'm still a superstar, I'm still a star, I'm still the king of New York, man, I'm fly, I look good, I fight good, man, so, I'm excited for next year.
When Crawford stepped into the super middleweight division, plenty of people questioned the decision. They believed he was giving away too much size and taking on a challenge that might finally expose him. Instead, Crawford delivered another masterclass. He didn't need to be the bigger fighter to control the action. He relied on timing, intelligence, accuracy, and composure to overcome one of boxing's biggest stars.
Better out of those two, Crawford or Mayweather?
I think Crawford is better, bigger. He's actually he moved in weight class, and I would say Crawford is a better fight all around fighter. Mayweather's really good too, though. You can knock him as well. He's very talented. It would have been a tough fight, but I think Crawford would have the edge over Mayweather because of the long arms and because he's bigger. You know what I'm saying? And he would have kept him at bay. It would have been hard for Mayweather to counter, maybe. But Mayweather's definitely a technician. I mean, like Crawford said, Mayweather has his era. And Crawford.
After that victory, Crawford's list of realistic challenges became extremely short. He had already conquered Errol Spence, dominated the top level at welterweight, collected championships at multiple weights, and then added another huge victory at 168. But one name continued appearing whenever fans discussed the next serious challenge: Jaron "Boots" Ennis. The undefeated young contender had been building momentum and destroying the opposition, making it increasingly difficult to ignore the possibility of a Crawford-Ennis showdown.
In the fights, we've got to get him undisputed at 47. He can move up. I want to see him fight Terence Crawford. You know, I mean, that's a fight that's been talked about, and Terence will only take that fight if it's big enough. I back Jaron Boots Ennis against anybody. And what a joy to be guiding.
The idea of Crawford versus Ennis has actually been around for years. Back when both men were competing at 147 pounds, fans were already demanding the matchup. At one point, the IBF ordered the fight, but the bout never came together. Supporters on both sides blamed different factors for why negotiations failed. Crawford maintained that Ennis had opportunities to make the fight happen, while some fans believed Bud simply didn't want to face such a dangerous young challenger. Eventually, Crawford moved forward with his career, and many assumed the matchup had disappeared forever. Then Boots continued improving, and suddenly the comparison became impossible to ignore.
Pick weight for Boots, he's 160. I think he could go there now and be in his absolute prime. He'll be tight at 54 tomorrow. People think that when you move up in weight, all of a sudden it's easy. He's massive. He will 100% go to 168 at some point. So right there, you've got a 4-division championship. But I don't want him just to be a 4-division champion. I want him to be undisputed in those, because I think he's the natural progressor to Terence Crawford. I think he's of the same kind of ability as Terence Crawford. And what Crawford's done is amazing, because he was undisputed in 3 weight classes.
Yeah,
so,
you got to prove it in a ring.
Of course you have. It's very well me saying it, but you've got to prove it in a ring. But you've also, people know in boxing. So everyone's always known how good Crawford was. But it took him a long time to get the opportunities to prove it. We've got to make sure that we're not 36, 37, 38 when we're getting those opportunities. Because if Boots can get it at 29, 30, he's going to be around 34, 35. He lives a clean life. Do you know what I mean? I think this guy, I truly believe, I think he could be one of the all-time.
As Ennis kept winning, more analysts began describing him as the closest thing boxing has seen to a younger Crawford. His versatility, timing, power, and ability to switch stances made the comparison even stronger. Eddie Hearn helped reignite the discussion by arguing that Ennis may be the one opponent capable of giving Crawford the kind of challenge fans are demanding. The age difference only adds to the intrigue. Crawford is approaching the later stages of his career, while Boots is entering his prime. If Bud wants one final defining challenge, Ennis could be the most logical choice.
Jaron Ennis against Terence Crawford is the fight. And that can be at 54, it can be at 60. Now, obviously, we've got Lima to take care of first, but that for me is one of the great, crossover fights, because Boots is the changing of the guard guy, and Crawford's the guy that's been there and done it all and just proved, that he's still very much.
The respect between the two fighters has been obvious, but so has the competitive tension. Ennis has repeatedly acknowledged Crawford as one of the best fighters alive and praised what Bud accomplished against Canelo. At the same time, Boots has never hidden his belief that he possesses the tools to defeat him. That combination of admiration and confidence is exactly what makes the potential fight so compelling.
And by the way, there's this brother coming up, Molly. His name is Boots Ennis. This brother's special. You don't want to go in the ring against after that beating. Molly, it was so bad. I swear to y'all, I am not exaggerating. Yeah. You know how.
Ennis has referred to Crawford as the current face of boxing, but there is clearly a message behind those compliments. Boots believes his time is coming. Crawford, meanwhile, has responded with the confidence of a veteran who has already accomplished almost everything. He has congratulated Ennis after his victories and recognized his talent, but he has also suggested that the young fighter should be patient. In other words, Crawford knows the challenge is waiting, but he doesn't appear eager to rush into it.
Tennis is in your weight class.
Definitely.
What do you think about him?
Oh, he's very, very talented. He's unproven, but he's very talented.
Yeah.
The eye test tells it all. He's got the it, but we haven't seen him against any elite fighter. We've never seen him test it. So until then, we just going to keep saying, oh, Boots, 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 until he meet that fighter that's going to test him.
Is that a fight that you would be interested in?
Nah, it just don't make sense right now in my career. Like I said, especially money-wise, don't nobody really know Boots, but
right.
I'm looking for bigger and better challenges like Canelo.
You're just looking for the big ones.
Yeah.
The big fish.
Yeah.
Fish fry.
Definitely. Them the guys I'm looking for.
Whenever Crawford has been asked whether Ennis is ready for him, Bud has usually kept his answers short and playful. But after the Canelo victory, the dynamic changed. Ennis immediately made his interest clear, and suddenly the business side of boxing began moving. promoters started discussing possible numbers, networks began exploring the opportunity, and the matchup became much more than fan speculation.
Boots and Crawford, that would be one of the biggest fights in history, man. You know what I mean? When it comes to styles, they both of them have beautiful styles, man. You know what I mean? They both switch, and they both can do it all. You know what I mean? Crawford will fight you. He just showed everybody he'll fight you too. Boots will fight you inside and outside. When you got heart like that, that's what you do. And Crawford does the same.
Names such as Eddie Hearn, Tim Bradley, and Sean Porter have all contributed to the growing conversation, with many suggesting that Ennis is the type of opponent Crawford needs at this stage of his career. The reason is simple. Boots possesses many of the same qualities that have made Bud so difficult to beat.
Who they are cancels out each other as far as height. You know, they both switch hitters, lift, and everything. All of that cancels out each other. So they are literally the same people pretty much. The only difference is Crawford done been in the big stage against big fighters so many times. And also with age, he didn't beat up his body, so his age is actually good. He got the grown man strength. He not just grown man strength, but he built on top of that. Like look at him at 135. He was a little scrawny dude. He wasn't a big dude. Now look at him. He ripped up everything. He's strong. So sure. I feel like he got everything, all the experience, all the knowledge. So I gotta go with
Ennis can fight from either stance without sacrificing his effectiveness. He can counter with tremendous timing, create openings with his movement, and generate serious power from positions opponents don't expect. On top of that, Boots has youth, physical strength, reach, and size working in his favor. He isn't simply another talented contender. He's the kind of opponent who can force Crawford to solve problems he hasn't faced before.
Jaron Boots Ennis or Terence Bud Crawford. Jaron's shots seem to be more thumping and more like a whip, where they come out kind of wider. Jaron also twists his whole body behind each shot, gets a lot of leverage. Terence Bud Crawford's shots seem to be shorter, and he gets more of that shoulder snap. Terence Bud Crawford's punches are also placed very strategically. He uses his opponent's momentum against them and catches them coming in and has them leaning right into that shoulder shot. Remember, the punch going from point A to point B in the shortest distance is the goal that's trying to be achieved in all fighters. Mike Tyson made that an art. Boots and Bud both have a lot of knockouts, but who do you guys think hits harder between the two of them? Tell me in the comments.
Another important quality separates Boots from many young fighters: patience. He doesn't always rush looking for the spectacular finish. He can wait, read his opponent, and build his attacks. That maturity is one reason the Crawford comparison has become so common. And that's where the storyline becomes fascinating. Crawford is approaching the twilight of his career, while Ennis is moving directly into his prime. One fighter represents the established standard of this generation. The other represents the possibility of replacing it. Boxing rarely gets a passing of the torch scenario this compelling.
Than Floyd Mayweather?
To me, it's because he challenges himself. So for me, don't get me wrong, Floyd ain't no bad fighter. Floyd is a hell of a sharp fighter, but I ain't gonna say a better fighter. I'm gonna say I just can appreciate it more because he challenges himself. You understand me? Floyd never challenged himself. So if you tell me who I want to see, Floyd or Terence, I want to see Terence, because Terence gonna challenge himself. Floyd may be a better fighter because Floyd is slick and Floyd really can fight. People know I don't underestimate Floyd's boxing ability. Floyd has great boxing ability. Floyd is one of the best ever, but Floyd just never.
Crawford has already achieved almost everything a fighter can dream of. Multiple undisputed championships, victories over elite opponents, and the kind of career that has silenced countless doubters. So what could motivate him to face someone like Ennis? Legacy. If Crawford defeats a younger, undefeated elite fighter entering his physical prime, it would remove one of the biggest questions surrounding his resume. It would show that even at this stage, Bud could still defeat the next generation's most dangerous challenger.
I beat this guy, it's an excuse, I beat this guy, and he's too young or whatever. So I'm never really gonna give my full respect until afterwards. Yes, you know, it's a lot of people that's changing their narrative. Like, man, y'all watching something great right now, and we not appreciating it. And it's sad to say that we waking up at the tail end of his career. You know, we really didn't realize it until now, when he's like doing extraordinary stuff, like going up 2 weight classes to fight the best fighter in that division, the #1 guy that's the face of boxing, you know. And the way that I handled that, people like, oh man, something had to be wrong. Canelo had to be washed, or Canelo just wasn't in it. I see people saying, oh, Turkey paid for Canelo to lose, you know. So I just think, you know, when you that much better than the competition, you know, people not going to give you credit until they sit down and look at it and just be like, man.
For Ennis, the opportunity is just as enormous. He has the undefeated record, the physical tools, and the confidence. What he still needs is the defining victory that transforms a great prospect or champion into a true superstar. Beating Crawford would do exactly that. Boots wouldn't need several more years to establish himself. One victory over Bud could immediately place Ennis at the center of boxing's entire conversation.
Here in Philadelphia, Boots Ennis, Eddie, a couple other people, you know, called Boots the natural successor to Terence Crawford, and obviously I know your relationship with him. Do you feel that high on Boots as well, or?
Hell yeah, I think Boots a hell of a fighter. I don't know about the natural sensation, whatever that is to Terence Crawford. I think Boots his own fighter, Terence his own fighter, but I think they both hell of a fighters. I've been around Boots for years, and he's the truth.
And last one for me, I'll let you go. Obviously, everyone's talking about a potential fight, you and Teofimo. Is there any updates to that? I mean, is that something that you are looking towards?
Yeah, that's the fight I want. So, ain't no updates. I don't speak business until the deal is done. So,
the biggest variable may be timing. Crawford brings years of elite-level experience that Boots simply cannot replicate overnight. He has been through difficult fights, solved different styles, and performed under enormous pressure. Ennis, on the other hand, brings something Crawford hasn't faced in quite this way: youth, freshness, physical strength, and the hunger of a fighter still chasing his first defining victory. Crawford may have the experience, but Boots could have the physical advantages. That makes the matchup extremely difficult to predict.
Is the guy to give Crawford like trouble in there if they were ever to fight?
I think that would be a great fight. You know, the young hungry lion versus the legend. That would be a hell of a fight. Maybe 160. If it's a vacant title at 160, I think that they can make that happen for sure. I think it just has to make sense for both parties. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think if there's a vacant belt, Crawford's gonna want to be 6th division champion, and then he'll make Ennis move up to 160. I think they could do it at 160.
According to the ongoing reports, discussions surrounding the fight are serious. Ennis' side wants the opportunity. Major promotional interests are reportedly involved, and the financial potential could make this an enormous event. Most importantly, Crawford has not completely closed the door. That alone keeps the possibility alive.
That's a good fight. That's definitely up there. It's definitely up there. Probably at middleweight or something. That's like a vacant belt. That's definitely up there. That's definitely a big fight. Probably Shakur and Tank too, maybe. That's like right on the scene. But yeah, that's that. He might not be lying. That might be the biggest.
Ennis has made it clear that he's willing to meet Crawford wherever the negotiations require. That tells you how badly he wants this fight. Crawford, meanwhile, has indicated that he wants another major challenge before eventually stepping away from the sport. If the two sides can actually reach an agreement, boxing could be looking at one of its most important matchups in years. This wouldn't simply be about another championship. It would be about experience versus youth, legacy versus ambition, and the established king against the fighter determined to take his place. So, now the question goes to you. Does Crawford's intelligence and experience remain too much for Boots? Or is Ennis finally the young challenger capable of ending Bud's reign?